Charlie Cushane here to do another mod to my camper. This time is something that works, but I want to make it better. And it's this outside porch light on my camper door, above my camper door. As you see, there's a switch inside, turns it on or off. And it's a traditional incandescent bulb, so it uses more power than LED bulbs. But the problem I have is when you turn it on and go away for the evening and come back, there's all kinds of bugs flying around it, and then they come in the camper when you open the door. I don't like that. I prefer it came on when I came near the door, came on, we walked in, and then it went off by itself. So that's what we're going to do today. So stick around. Okay, so what I'm going to do is remove this light completely and put in this brand new motion guard light. It is slightly a little bigger, but it's very, very smart. It's all LED, so it's very energy efficient. And the best thing is, as you see here, there's a Fresnel lens that not only detects when it gets dark out, but it also has a sensor in there, so that a motion detector that you can adjust. So as you walk up to your camper, it turns it on. Now, in addition to this, I bought their adapter plate, all right, that goes underneath of this. And the reason I got this is it has all kinds of holes, as you see here. Because there's 4 holes that work with this new one, and these other holes allow you to use the existing holes in your RV. So you don't have to drill any new holes. So let's get started putting this in. We're up here at the light. Let's start taking it apart. Well, I busted the lens, so it's coming off now. Bulb, and there's 4 screws to take out. Okay, apparently the next thing I have to do is cut this black wire. That's the power, and then it was grounded right to the plate. Now, let's see if we can get this off. I'm not so confident it's that easy. Well, that's half of it. And also the other half. This plate does not want to give it up. Whew. And there's the 2 wires. Black and white. That was stuck on ridiculous. Or really good, however you want to call it. Now I have to do the unfun job of cleaning that. So let me get some of that done for you. Okay, now that I got it sufficiently cleaned, it took a long time to get it all scraped off, and then I had to use some paint thinner, and then I waxed it. So it's pretty good now. The first problem I see is I need to lengthen this white wire. Look how short it is. I barely have anything to hold on to. The black one's a little bit longer, and what I made was a couple of pieces of wire I can add on here. So first one I want to do here is this white one because it's so short. So let's get started on that. Okay, what I've tried to do here is I slipped one of these connectors that has, it's a heat shrink piece of tubing with 2 beads that lock onto the wires, and then this solder, low temperature melting solder, will solder the 2 joints. So I got it pulled it out as far as I can and hooked it up. Now I just need to heat it up ever so slightly. There we go. There's the white wire all soldered. Now I just have to do the black wire. And yes, in case you're wondering, I am going to check. I should read 12 volts when I get it done here. I'm at 13, my battery's at 1309. So yes, my connections here are good. So now I'm good to do the install. Okay, now I'm ready to mount this adapter plate, which was supposed to be, the reason I bought it, so you don't have to drill new holes in the RV. However, what I've noticed, the 3 holes I had were okay, but the 4th hole was into this pocket the wires were, and it wasn't really doing anything. That's why I had a hard time getting the screw out, because it wasn't attached to anything. So, if I really want this held down well, I'm going to have to put new holes. And additionally, what I found out, when you put these wires in where they belong, if I put this over where the old holes were, it was way off center. The center's way over here. So what I'm going to do is drill, even with this plate, drill new holes, but move it over right here, where it's centered on the door and held down with 4 good holes, not 3. All right, now to drill 4 holes. Okay, the first thing I have to do is put some caulking on this, and I have to go all the way around the perimeter here. And you have to notice there's like a little weep hole right here. And that's so if any water ever does get in, it can come out. So I don't want to plug that, so I want to do around the perimeter with my white silicone caulking. So I'm going to do a bead as good as I can right in this groove. Also, before I put this up, put some on the old holes. And maybe this too. Here we go. First thing, put the wires through. Perfect. It's nice and centered side to side. And it's nice and level. Now I just clean up the caulking around the edge. And there we have it. All mounted, nice and neat. We're ready to mount the light. Okay, I popped the cover off the lens. And you can see the inside here. This is a nice metal circuit board with the LEDs on it, which makes it a very good heat sink. And on the back side is all the electronics. A nice, neat package. So now I have to put the 4 screws in to mount it, but before I do that, I have to wire it up. And I know from using my tester that this black coming out of the camper is positive, which just so happens coincides with the positive coming out of the light. So my goal is to use these little crimp-on connectors All right, what I didn't tell you is right here on this adapter plate is a nice, feels like silicone almost, seal. So you just line it up, the screw holes, and that seal. Okay, now that it's all screwed on there, let's put the lens cover back on. And the trick is, there's a little silicone seal around this edge. You got to make sure you keep that in place during this process. There. All right. Of course, the last thing to do, let's try it out. Okay, when you first turn the switch on, it comes on manually. So this is what you'd want, like if you were just sitting around and you wanted the light on. But if you don't want the light on, you toggle it again, and see now, it's flashing blue. It's supposed to do that for like a minute. And then the motion sensor will start working. So let's wait for it. Okay, we should see this blinking green, and it is. That means power's on and it's sensing for motion. And there it is. Perfect. That produces plenty of light on the steps. That should be perfect, as you can see, standing back. Plenty of light on the ground around the steps. I am very happy with that. Another happy, successful mod.